Hey, good day, everybody. It's Chris Gallagher. Welcome to our Preacher's Pen Bible class. This is Friday, and we are summing up Mark chapter 5. Now, in Mark chapter 5, we have talked about a few different things. We're going to come back today. We're going to summarize what we learn about Legion, what we learn about the woman with the issue of blood, what we learn about Jairus and his daughter. But we're also going to look at what happened to the people around them and what is the reaction among them compared to the people that Jesus healed. We're going to do that very simply today, but I'm glad that you're able to be with us. If you have time, go check us out at preacherspen.org. Also, you can go to the very top, sign up for our newsletter. There's a prayer request page. You can also request prayer if you would like that. Now, I'm going to encourage you to go sign up on our YouTube channel. If you have not done that already, go to youtube.com / that's the slash that goes this way, / at Preacher's Pen, and you'll be able to sign up for our YouTube channel. If you're familiar with Rumble, Rumble is an alternative to YouTube that a lot of people are using, rumble.com / Preacher's Pen. Also, if you are on Twitter, Twitter has a whole new set of skills, I guess, in a unique makeup now. Check us out at twitter.com / Preacher's Pen. But we're glad that you're here. The question I want to begin with today is this. If you were around the time of Jesus, where would you be in life? Would you be one that followed Jesus as part of the disciples, which that word means student learner? Or would you be somebody who's part of the multitudes, you're a little bit farther off? Or would you be, and probably not, but would you be one of the Pharisees, Sadducees, or scribes? It's a question that I think that we have to ask, because in each one of these miracles that we looked at this week, the miracle of Legion as he's healed from the demons, the miracle of the woman touching the hem of the garment of Jesus, the woman with the issue of blood, or it's the situation with Jairus' daughter. All three of those are absolute miracles. We know that because of the immediate healing that took place. Because a miracle is something that defies the laws of nature. For instance, this individual in the beginning of Mark chapter 5, known as Legion, that's what the name that he gives that we can call him by. We know that he was filled with many demons. In fact, that's what he says. My name is Legion, for we are many. But in this, what you find is when Jesus heals him, it's an immediate healing. There's not a delay in this. And everybody knew about it. It was something that was known for years. It didn't just come up the day before. It was something that was done for years because he lived among the tombs. They had tried to bind him before and they couldn't do it. He was literally the crazy man that everybody knew. The second one is a woman with the issue of blood. Been documented for 12 years. Doctors couldn't heal her. She had spent everything that she had. People probably knew who she was, especially the doctors. Then you have Jairus' daughter. All of those around know that she's dead. And when Jesus heals Jairus' daughter, it's immediate. Takes up her hand, gets her up, and she begins walking. The woman with the issue of blood, however, Jesus didn't touch her. She touched Jesus. And it was her faith, Jesus says, that made her well. Her belief and the actions that followed. But what's very interesting in all of these is the crowd of people that's around them. You know, when we look at the crowd of people around our world today, we can become very confused because we have a bias towards Christianity. And what I mean by that is we understand, and we're growing to understand, we're understanding more every day, the precious blood of Jesus. And we wonder about what does the crowd outside of us, outside of our church buildings, what does this crowd think of Christianity? Well, I think we see some of that in Mark chapter 5. Do you remember at the very beginning of Mark chapter 5, after Jesus heals Legion, something happens. It says the herdsman, okay, probably the herdsman in charge of those pigs, the herdsmen ran and they fled, it says, into the city, and they told it of what Jesus had done. And when the people came out to see Jesus, they saw the man sitting in his right mind. He was absolutely fine, but they asked Jesus to leave. Now, there's one reaction. They asked Jesus to go away. They didn't, and I don't want to think negatively for a moment because they did ask Jesus to leave, but were they shocked? Were they just all consumed in what had happened? Did they consider Jesus to be somebody that was filled with a spirit that they didn't understand? Well, he healed him for the right reason, but they still, they asked Jesus to leave. Then in the second one, it's the woman with the issue of blood. All of these people are around her. There's everybody's that's touching her, and they probably, if they knew about her, they overlooked her situation. You ever think about that? They may have overlooked her situation. We see that in the parable of Bartimaeus, and we see that in the parable, or excuse me, not in the parable, but in the miracle of Bartimaeus. When the crowd knows that he's blind, he calls out to Jesus, but the crowd tells him to be quiet. You see, Jesus healed him, but the crowd was very antagonistic towards him because they knew of him. So why wouldn't they want him to be healed? Why wouldn't they bring these individuals to Jesus? But for whatever reason, they didn't. I wonder if that's the same case with the woman with the issue of blood. Because, and once again, we just keep saying this issue of blood because we don't know exactly her name, but we do know this, that when she was made well, she kind of cowered back into the crowd. So the crowd almost ignored her. They ignored the surroundings that was taking place right there in front of her. So they didn't push her away. They didn't do any of that. But yet they saw this healing and they heard the words of Jesus. Now the third category of people is the category of Jairus' daughter. When Jesus, the great healer, that they knew that something was special about Jesus. I truly think that. Because Jairus had gone to get Jesus, and as Jesus is coming to his house, there's this gathering of people. I would imagine they're waiting on Jesus because they want to see this miracle too. But in this, when Jesus comes up, now, the fame of Jesus, we know from Matthew chapter 4, had spread all throughout the regions. And we know that Jesus' fame is growing. The crowds around him are growing. So here you have Jesus getting ready to heal this girl who's 12 years of age, getting ready to heal her of her disease, and Jesus says she's sleeping, and the people laugh. It's like they didn't fully understand, and they even questioned the power of Jesus. Now, you and I wouldn't question the power of Jesus necessarily, but we hear people question the power of Jesus. We hear people say, well, I don't know if Jesus can forgive me of all my sins. And we hear statements like that, and even Christians have made statements like that. But what does that really mean? That Jesus can't heal me of all my sins. It's doubting the power of Jesus. It's questioning the power of Jesus. But it's also, to an extent, it's questioning who we are. Are we good enough? Are we valuable enough? And see, I think when we look at the people around us, we see that. The people of the beginning part of Mark chapter 5, they didn't see the value of Jesus, or they would have kept him around. I think we see it with the woman with the issue of blood. She knew the value of Jesus, and she was willing to do something about it, and she came for her healing. We see the parable, or the miracle of Jairus. Jairus goes to Jesus, but when the people are there and Jesus says, oh, she's sleeping, they laugh. They doubt the power of Jesus. I think all three of these give us a scenario that we see in the world today. There are those who want nothing to do with Jesus. There are those who come to Jesus. There are those who laugh at Jesus because they fully don't understand Jesus. We need to make sure that we're not in one of those categories, that we are like Jairus and we are going to Jesus. We are like that woman of faith and we are going to Jesus. That we are not rejecting Jesus. Instead, that we are coming to him knowing that he has our soul in his heart, our eternal destiny in his heart because he died for us. So as you look at these parables, I would encourage you to go back and read Mark chapter 5 again, and to see exactly what the miracles are and where you fit into one of these crowds. Hopefully, we're going to be part of the crowds that followed Jesus, the ones that were around him, the ones that supported him, and the ones that obeyed him. But something for you to think about today, go back and watch all of our Bible classes if you haven't already. Remember to check us out at preacherspen.org. If you go there, you can look on the right sidebar. You'll be able to find all the information to how to follow us and also to check out the Preacher's Pen podcast. But as always, I hope you have a great day. We look forward to talking to you soon.